Good morning, YouTube. It has been a little while again, and I wanted to give you another garden update. It's grown a lot. A lot has happened since Grayson, my son, has been born, and it hasn't really been managed probably like it should. We did get a couple rounds of basil pesto. We did get a few snap peas, but there were some issues with the peas. Let me show you here. We had a pretty crazy windstorm come in, and I didn't quite get the trellises built up the way that I think they should be, and the poor little peas didn't have a chance to use their little arms and grab onto the branches, and the wind kind of came in and blew them over a little bit, so the peas are struggling. That combined with the heat, and they're just kind of dying. It's pretty late in the summer for peas here in Indiana, so I think we got what we're gonna get. On the other hand, my cilantro / coriander is coming along pretty beautiful here. Just got tons of flowers right now, not a whole lot of seed, but it's pretty much done being cilantro. Still tastes okay, a little on the bitter side, but pretty soon we're gonna have some awesome coriander seeds to harvest. Tomatoes are looking sharp. These, look at these. These are microgreens. Yes, these are microgreens, and they are wildly out of control. They are a lot spikier than I feel like a lot of people want to eat at the moment, but they've still got some decent flavor. You know, it's got that radish, sharp spice. I still don't know what to call. What do you guys call the spiciness of a radish? Is it spicy? Is it something else? It's not heat. Tell me. What do I call this spice? Kind of the arugula radish spice. Microgreens have it as well. But as you can see, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I'll probably just yank them. Maybe make a spicy, spiky salad out of the radish. Moving along here, basil is on its last legs. They've got some flowers starting to form, kind of these extra starry looking bits, and this one's looking okay. So probably get a round or two more pesto out of them. Peppers, my peppers are still like, I don't know. My peppers have always been kind of short and stout, so I don't know what I can do to get these guys a little bit better. They're growing like mad. It's got a ton of extra growth, but I need some height. My bell peppers, though, are doing okay. They're looking pretty tall and nice. Got a little bit of fruit popping up there, I think. We'll say jalapenos about doing the same as the habaneros. Just not a whole lot of action going on. I got some Thai basil. It's looking real pretty. About the same as the sweet basil, though. It's kind of bitter. All the basils are a little on the bitter side when it gets too hot. But I think the Thai basil would be awesome in some stews still. So I might try and dehydrate some of that and save it for later. Green beans, I just don't think are gonna happen this year. We had a rabbit sneak into my garden, and it wreaked a little havoc. I think it decided to munch on some of my beans. So sorry, Stephanie, but I don't think we're gonna have the green bean harvest that you are really desiring this year. So tough luck. That's how it goes here in the city, and until I'm out in the country where I can properly take care of varmints in the garden, there's just not a lot that can be done. So rabbit got a good meal. I did not. That's how it goes. So remember in a previous video, we talked about pruning the tomatoes and clipping off the suckers. These have probably reached that height where I'll probably stop pruning them just to let them grow a little bit thicker, produce a few more tomatoes, more of the medium size. But some of these suckers are growing quite nicely. Let me zoom in here for you. So you can see in the crotch of the plant, this is normally what we would snip off, and it has grown almost as high as the main stalk. So with that sucker about a foot tall, what you can do is clip it, put it in some water, and it'll start growing its own little roots. And basically what you've done is created a clone of that tomato plant. So I don't know if there's enough time for this guy to take root and actually produce any tomatoes, but I'm gonna throw it in the ground and we're gonna see what this little tomato sucker clone actually produces this year. It's pretty exciting. I love this side of the garden. Just the fact that plants want to survive. I chopped this off and it's already struggling, trying to stay alive. It's growing its roots. It wants to propagate. It wants to produce tomatoes and spread seeds. That's all it's here for, is just spreading seed. And they're wonderful machines. They just truck along. And as difficult as gardening is at some points, it's just so easy on the other hand, because certain plants just want to live. And it seems like no matter what you do, they just live. And whether they're producing at the capacity that you want them to or not is one thing, but these plants are just awesome at surviving, and it's so cool to watch. So on that note of plants wanting to survive, the weeds came back. Y'all know I have an issue with a certain kind of weed here. I still don't know what it is. We spent a ton of time hand picking all these weeds from the garden, and they're just coming back like nothing ever happened. These plants are relentless and I cannot get rid of them. It's really irritating. They're honestly probably not the worst thing that could happen to the garden. They're certainly not the worst thing. I could have tons of bugs in here. I could have tons of chipmunks and rabbits destroying everything. So this is certainly the least of all the evils I could be fighting right now. But it's just ugly. I don't like the look of it. So I don't know that this is the right course of action here, but it's my next course of action. So stay tuned for the next phase of the battle. Chris against the weeds. We're gonna see how this works. Plucking did not work. Digging did not work. So phase three of the fight against the weeds. And let's give it a go, see how it works. Okay, phase 3 of the battle against the weeds. I bought some straw. We are going to make a little ground cover. It's a little bit messier than I might have thought initially. It's throwing up a bunch of dust and I'm breathing it. And it's a lot finer, a lot thinner, drier than I guess I assumed it might be. And it's also compressed. So this tiny little bale is gonna give us a ton of straw. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of it. So let's make a huge mess here. Let's cover the ground. It's gonna do two things for me, I hope. Number one, I am really praying that it kind of drowns out the light and suffocates the weeds so they do stop growing so crazy. Number two is it will keep a lot of the moisture in the soil. So the past couple weeks here in Indiana have been pretty dry, and I've been using my rain barrel just to water things. I'm trying to do it daily. I'm not always successful at that. The past few days have been pretty rainy, which has helped a lot. But I did deplete my rain barrel. I've got a 55-gallon rain barrel, and just over the course of a couple weeks, it went dry. So I'm really hoping that the straw keeps a lot of that moisture in the soil so I don't need to water quite as much. So here's hoping. I'll keep you posted, I guess, but you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the weeds down, keep the garden looking pretty, and keep it functional. And a dry garden is not a functional garden. So we're playing here. You know, we're testing out a few things and we're gonna see what works the best. And this is just my next solution. So let's get to it. gosh. All right, the straw is laid, and I think it's time to wrap things up. It is humid out here right now, and I do not take that very well. I'm a dry heat kind of guy. Scratch that. I'm a cold kind of guy, so I'm not a huge fan of the summer. But it's what the tomatoes like, so we'll keep it. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the way the straw looks, but I'll take this look over the weed look, and I'll see if it works. I'll keep you posted, and here's to growing tomatoes. I like it. Before I take off though, I got merchandise. Look at this. I got olive hats, and I've got heather gray from Field to Table hats. Purchase them in the link below from fieldtotable.shop. There's no .com, .shop. From fieldtotable.shop. Pick yourself up a hat. I've also got some sick goose in flight stickers that my buddy Aaron designed for me. I've also got solo goose in flight stickers if you're not a huge fan of the big square design and the crazy background. I've also got from Field to Table just text stickers, so slap that on your cooler, slap it on your truck, the back of your car, whatever. Tell people where your food is coming from. It'll help support me, it'll help support my family, but I think more importantly, it spreads the word that this is easy. You know, hunting and gardening is easy. Anybody can do it. Just start. I do think it's more healthy for your body, you know, if you do it yourself versus corporate conglomerations putting too many chemicals in there, forcing chickens to grow too fast and never seeing the light of day. Do it yourself. Live from field to table. Spread the word. Buy a hat. Tell your friends. Again, don't have to tell them about my channel. You don't have to tell them about me. Just tell them, hey, I like to take my food from the field and put it on my table. Enjoy.